Hi everyone, this is 10 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and we're starting our daily craft along lives every single day to help you to create at home, to make lovely things, and explain a little bit more about beading to you. So I'm just going to wait a couple of minutes until everybody sort of gets on, and we have some people to watch us. I also need to get this up here on my iPad behind it so I can see all your comments, because I'm going to flip the camera, put it into my lighting ring so you can see very well and very clearly what we're doing, or how you attach clasp, and talk you through a few things. So Bernie's here. Hi Bernie, morning. As you know, it's quite a difficult time for everybody. Everybody have to stay at home. A lot of you are self-isolating. And I thought, as a small business, thank you very so much for supporting us. We wanted to give something back to you, really, that what you can do, learn a new craft, or if you already into beading, learn some new techniques. We're going to go through quite a few of them. Me and Sarah put our heads together and put an extensive list of different things, sort of to create videos for you to make along and sort of enjoy it and learn new things. But we wanted to do something a little bit better, just a video. So every single day on our Totally Beads website, you have a free PDF download, which you can download free of charge. Quite a few of you did it last night as well. After Sarah's video, she was doing a lovely little flower brooch. Well, it's a beaded flower with a wire, and you can use it in so many different ways. It doesn't just have to be a brooch. You could have used it for like a hair bubble or a decoration on top of something. There is so many different applications for it. So that PDF is going to expire very soon. I think Simon is changing over as we speak, and the new one. So every single day there will be a new one on there. The new one will be available for you to download soon. You need to download it. To do that, you need to physically add it into your basket and check out, and then it will be emailed to you, so you can have it and print it out from your computer and work from it. Hi Marie, hi Alison, so nice to see you all here. Yeah, so a couple of things I wanted to talk to you about before I get on to the beading. That I think it's very important for us, even though we're self-isolating and we are at home, that I like to get up in the morning, get dressed, put your makeup on if you wear makeup, just to sort of act as normal as we can, because like yesterday I was working from home and I almost stayed in my pajamas all day, and by the end of the day I felt like a bit grotty, I guess that's the word. So I think if for us at home and crafting and doing anything, if we just sort of get ready and do act as normal as we can in these times. Another tip what I would like to give you is that when we're doing beading and we're sitting down for a long time of periods, do set a stopwatch or do set an alarm on your phone, and do stand up in every 45 minutes and just sort of walk around the room, because I do suffer with bad neck. So if I sit in a position, especially when I'm beading, and I'm sort of hunched over my desk or hunched over my little tray I'm bead from, I really get sort of really bad aches and aches in my neck going down into my arms. So it's really, and times like this when we're at home and creating, we forget about sort of doing all those things. So I think it's really important, set an alarm on your phone or set an alarm on your anywhere you can, and just stand up every 45 minutes, just sort of walk around, look out the window, and just sort of change your position. And you can do, there's loads of exercise classes available now on Facebook and everywhere else, just to sort of get a little bit of movement in as well. So I think that's really important. But let me show you what we're going to be doing today. So let me just take a sip of my coffee. I never actually get to drink a coffee while it's hot, so it's quite nice to sort of, it always goes cold. Right, so Debbie's here. Hi Debbie, hi Kim, hi. So I'm going to flip the camera and put it into my lighting ring. So this is my sort of lighting setup. I'm just going to show you. camera is going down. So this is my lighting rid up, and this is really give you a really good light underneath it to see what I'm going to be doing. So I'm just going to pop my phone to the top. So I think we got a good surface and we can see very well. So with all the different techniques we're going to go through, I wanted to get through some of the basic ones first, because sometimes some of the basic ones where you can make the most you can make jewelry quickly as well, but there's quite a few hints and tips to make your jewelry look more professional, and you know that you can do so many different things. So I thought today I'm going to do one on basic bead stringing. And when we talk about basic bead stringing, there's so many different variations you can do. The necklace to necklace, even though you're using basic techniques, it's really it's nice and looks very different as well. So with this one is just one of our crystal oval beads, and I put a little 4mm pearl between it and just attached it. It's on tiger tail, and I used a calotte, a jump ring and a lobster clasp. So this is quite very simple, because you're just altering, although these are graduating, I just altered adding them together, but you can spruce it up a little bit more. So for example, if I bring these in, now with this one I used bead caps. So bead caps I think are so underused, because people are like really not sure about what to do with it, but they really make jewelry stand out and look even nicer just by using a bead cap on either end of that pearl. And we're using basic materials here: pearls, crystals and the bead caps themselves. So I think it's really great to sort of vary your designs. And even if you're not just doing necklaces, if you're doing earrings, sometimes a little detail can give you a lot of different looks. Now this one again is really simple, very easy, very plain, but I think it's a very wearable item for like especially the summer is coming up. You want sort of summery colors. These are jadeite beads, and I really love them, because I love them. They're simple, but they're really elegant as well. And you just pop to the sides. And again, I got one here. I just went into work yesterday, grabbed loads of samples so I can give you loads of inspiration. These are again just basic materials. So we got one type of glass bead here, which is 10mm. Well, actually it's 12mm, sorry. It's 12mm glass bead here, and just a couple of crystals in between to sort of sparkle it up and speed up. This is one of my favorite pieces as well, because again it's very simple. You're only repeating a pattern, like, you know, a very easy pattern, but it looks, I think it looks really nice to go with anything. Then, as I showed you sort of larger beads, I want to show you some smaller beads. So this is our hematite cubes, and again just using a little Toho seed bead. This is a bugle bead in between, which is, they are so cheap, they go such a long way, but necklaces like this you can really layer them up. And again, I'm only using two different hematite beads here, and the crystal cube bead. Again, it's just a pattern, but you can make any patterns up. Other interesting beads, like if you're going with the hematite, you got, or not just hematite, frame beads are available in so many different finishes and so many different things. These are great because the bead themselves, they got a hole from top to the bottom, but you can insert another bead inside it, and it just makes your designing even sort of more lovely and more beautiful. So staying on the hematite, I got another one here. Now this is another, I love making necklaces like this, because you're only using beads at the front, and you're going to use chain to sort of lengthen and to your back of your necklace, because especially if you're wearing like collar at tops, you're not really going to see any of this back. You're really going to see the front. So makes your materials go much further. Again, staying with the hematite. Now, varying the sizes of beads are really a great idea as well. Now here I only got 5 pieces of the larger ones in the front, and then I added a few smaller ones and then chain going to the back. again, something like this. I mean, if you think about it, a string of beads, when you get like 30, 40 of this on a string, or even if you have at home in your stash, you only got like 3 beads of one some particular size or color. You can always mix it up and do really wonderful, nice jewelry with it. So that's the hematite. Got another hematite to show you as well. This is again just mixing larger beads and smaller beads. But the beauty with tiger tail that you can plan it, you can string it up, and before you add the ends, you can sort of see how your necklace is going to be looking like, and you can change things. So it's not set in stones. I love jewelry because you can always swap things and sort of change things about. And I always say I'm rescuing my beads. So when I have an old necklace or an old bracelet, what I don't really wear anymore because I don't like the color variations in there or don't like the pattern, I rescue my beads. So I kept my necklaces up and use it in something else. Going back to the crystals, there is many different shapes and many different things you can do. They are really elegant, and again, this is only using 2 different material here. The string of these lovely hexagon beads, I just love them. They're really, really sparkly, and some hematite jumps here, but there's many different colors you can achieve them. So there is something there for everybody. But let me put this to the side. Oh, I got one more to show you. So these ones, again, I just grabbed yesterday. So if you just only got a couple of smaller beads at home, but you want to add something a little bit extra to your jewelry and to make it a little bit more interesting, you can always add just a few drops. So these ones, they only have like sort of 5 pieces of drops. Some of them are more closer together, some of them are more further apart, but I think it's just makes your necklaces more elegant, more... Sorry, let me just bring that in. The comments keep disappearing on on here. So Kim saying morning, Sue saying hi Kitty, hi Sue. Oh, Murray saying pretty cup. Well, I had those cups for forever, and unfortunately they all seems to start to break, and they are sort of on out the way, but I love them too because they are quite a large cup, so they my sort of size of coffee in the morning. Let me just get these out of the way. Oh, I got these as well to show you. So just going on to bracelets. So the same technique I'm going to be showing you to necklaces, it can be used for bracelets. These are jadeite beads. Again, I only sort of put a little 3mm pearl between to break it up. And I think that's it makes it prettier as well. But what it does, so when you have a little bit more, like these are semi-precious materials, which are more expensive, you want to make them last a little longer and make as many pieces of jewelry as you can from one strand. So if I just take this off, and I got a necklace here with it. So with the necklace, this is one strand of pearls are went into the necklace and a bracelet. I still got some of the jadeites left, and I had a pair of earrings to go with this as well, but I wore it somewhere and I misplaced it, so I don't know where it is at the moment. I put it in such a safe place. They're so safe, I can't find it. But so making your materials go further, you can do a necklace, you can do bracelet, you can earring, you can probably have enough material to do other bracelet as well. So breaking your materials up and doing just front pieces on necklaces gives you an option to sort of take your materials further. What I love as well, if you've only got a few bits of pieces at home or a few beads, I love creating rainbow jewelry as well. This is again those jadeite beads what you've seen on the bracelets. I had some left over and I just strung them up. But again, whatever you got at home, if you got round beads or pearls, but you got like 5 or 6 different colors, this is a really great idea to do. Just sort of a rainbow piece going around. I'm not very good at random, so I always do sort of sets of colors, but some people do quite like to do random as well. There's one which is only 3 colors. I love this as well. And when you do multicolors like this, I think it's perfect because no matter what you got, so if you got different tops at home, what you want to match it with, you could wear it with a turquoisey one, you could wear it with a more greeny one, or you can wear it with a more tealy one. And that's why it's great to do multicolor necklaces, because it will be a more wearable piece with loads of different tops and clothes or dresses or anything you like to wear. Here is this is just a very basic one. Again, these are just pearls and glass beads, but I think it just looks really nice, and a seed bead between it. Now the seed beads between here is just craft seed beads, so they are the cheaper range of seed beads, but to use them as spacer beads, I think they are great. And even though if they're uneven and they're not suitable for bead weaving or do something when you really need regular beads, using them for stringing are great, and they are go forever because they usually come in large bags. But again, this is always say like certain beads are fit certain projects. So let me just get these out of the way, and I'm going to show you how to do the ends. I'm going to show you a couple of little variations of them. So there's this one. Actually, let's just get this one back. So this one is using a, if I bring it closer you can see it, this one is using a, I always say this is a horseshoe finding, but actually it's called a wire guard, because the wire goes around it and it stops the wire rubbing against your clasp. But this is a really good one to have in your stash. I'm going to show you how to attach that in a minute. Let me just go back to the comments in the same time and see. Amorag saying good morning. Chris saying thank you for thinking of this dreadful time. I think this is yes, it is a dreadful time, but I always say if life gives you life gives you lemons, then make lemonade. So if you have to stay at home, let's just keep the spirits up. And then, you know, we're going to do loads of crafting, and we're going to make so many lovely and beautiful jewelry or any other, we got some other projects planned as well, which is not just jewelry together. So let's use the time to learn and sort of better ourselves. Pat saying good morning, Joe saying hi Kitty. I'm so glad there's so many of you here and watching. So without further ado, let me just show you a basic top. So that's going to be the black one. Now these one just acrylic beads. I strung them. I didn't want to sort of sit here and pick beads one by one for you, so I strung them onto a tiger tail, and we're just going to do the ends. Now you can do them shorter or you can do them longer. These are quite long because I think necklaces like this you want to really sit right down, like maybe a couple of inches down from your collarbone, because that's where I think they look the best. So to put the ends on, you're going to need crim beads. Crim beads are these tiny little metal beads, and you're going to crush them with pliers. You're going to need culottes, or they look like a clamshell with a hole at the bottom and two loops attached on the top. They are really handy because they hide your crim beads, and they give you a more professional look. And jump rings we're going to use, which is like a little circle with a cut at the top, and we're going to use a lobster clasp as well, but we'll show you some other variations in a minute. So to finish a necklace, I'm going to take one under it, and actually I'm going to put this spring back on there because I don't want the beads to escape. So the first thing you're going to do, you're going to take your culotte and you're going to feed your tiger tape through from the outside to inwards, and just let this lie down. I'm going to pick up a couple of crim beads. Sorry, this is a little bit off the camera. Let me just bring them in. Pick up a couple of crim beads. Now, I always say I like to double crimp, especially bracelets, but necklaces as well, because when I used to have small children, they always used to tug on my jewelry, and it's just extra safe. And this is actually your weakest point of your necklace, so I always like to double crimp. So I'm going to take this crim bead. I'm just going to use a chain nose pliers, and I'm going to take it right to the end, and I'm just going to squeeze it together, just flatten it right out. You don't have to do a very big squeeze, it's just sort of enough. I say like a gentleman handshake sort of squeeze, so you don't have to squeeze too much, but just a little bit normal, and that's it. I squeezed both of them to the end there, so they're just sitting right there. These are stuck here now, you can't take them off, because once you crash the crim bead down, it will hold its shape. And now I'm going to pull up this culotte, and as you can see, those crim beads are going to be just right inside it. Then I'm going to close the culotte. So closing the culotte, you're just sort of pushing the two ends together to come together, and just did a little bit with my hand, and I'm going to finish it off with the pliers. and that's it. So that end is nice and secure. Then I'm going to pull my beads down, so make sure there is no gaps on the end from the, because I don't want the wire to show anywhere. So I'm going to pull my beads up nice and snug against my culotte, and I'm going to repeat it from this side. So first I'm going to add the culotte, let this to go all the way down, because now we need to crimp it right inside the culotte. So first I'm just taking one crimp bead, I'm going to pull this culotte down, and I'm going with my pliers, and I'm just going to squeeze it as close as I can inside the culotte. And when I've done one crimp bead, I'm going to go in and pick up another one. Let this go all the way down as well. And I'm going to squeeze this as well. Then I'm going to go in and trim the excess wire. Just like that. And close this culotte up as well. So all is left to do, sorry, let me just take a sip of my coffee. My voice is going. So all is left to do is to attach the jump rings to the rings already on the culottes and attach the lobster clasp as well. So with jump rings, I want to hold them with 2 pairs of pliers. So you never want to pull them apart. You always want to twist one plier towards you and the other one away. As you can see, I'm trying to hold as much as I can with my pliers, because if I just hold it with a tip, I can dent and mark my jump ring. So the more you can hold it with your pliers, the nicer it's going to be. So I turn the one towards me and the other one away, and then I'm going to add the culotte and just sort of close it back in. So when I'm closing it back in, I'm just going to turn this so you can see it better. I'm going to go past the midway just a tiny bit and let it spring shut. It's really important that your jump rings are shut completely and correctly, because otherwise they could sort of fall off. I'm going to do the same for the other one, but this time when I'm opening the other one, I'm going to add the culotte. And I'm going to add this lobster clasp as well. And again, I'm just going to shut it right in. And that's it, our necklace is ready. We got a nice clasp on there. So now the next sort of question is, sometimes when people ask like, oh well, that's well and good if I want to make something which I know exactly how long I want to make for, what if I make a necklace as a present and I'm not quite sure how big that person wants to wear that necklace. So in that case, you need to use an extension chain. So I just got a piece of chain here. There are extension chains what you can get out there, but this is just sort of a normal 6mm round chain. This is quite pretty and it's quite strong as well, so it's quite secure. But I've chosen this one because when you're working with chain, I use the chain usually as a jump ring itself. So at the same time, I'm going to show you this little wire guard as well. So I'm going to get my silver strand in here. So I just lost the bead. Now, with the wire guard, it's slightly a little bit different because you have to pick up your crimp bead first. And then you're going to go into the wire guard. So the wire guard has got 2 little tubes on the end, and it's sort of a little graved wire going around between these 2 tubes at the end. So I'm going to go into one tube. I'm going to take this a little bit down. Then I'm going to take my tiger tail around and I'm going to go in from the other side and pull this shut. Now, a couple of things here, and take my wire back through the crimp bead. Now, if I'm attaching a lobster clasp, this is perfect because obviously I got really secure. And I'm just sort of, this is like, we had the loop on the culotte, now we got the loop on here for the wire guard, so this is perfect. But if you want to attach a magnetic clasp, which you can do on here, there are many available, you need to add it before you go to the crimp bead. So you would take, let me just take this back and show you. So before you go to the crimp bead, I would go through the loop on the magnetic clasp and wiggle my magnetic clasp into the wire guard as well. So now I'm just going to be sitting there nicely and neatly. Of course you could connect it up with a jump ring as well, but I think when you do this, it's sort of a nicer and neater finish. But let's just get this off for a sec. And I'm going to go back into the crimp bead. So I'm going to do the same thing I did in the previous time. I'm just going to go ahead, make sure, pull this up so it's nice and tight, and I'm going to go in and I'm just going to squeeze that little crimp bead just like that, and I'm going to take this end down into a few beads just like so, pull the rest of the beads up from the other end, then just trim this one, and that will be a nice and secure end there. So on the other side I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to go into a crimp bead, oh come on, jump on my wire, that's it, and I'm going to go into one of my wire guards, back around on the other side, and into the crimp bead as well. Now this side, before we crimp it, we really need to sort of pull this up nice and snug against our beads. So I'm going to take the end through a few of the beads again, and I'm going to hold on to my wire protector and the crimp bead as well, because I don't want the crimp bead to fall into the hole on the bead, and just sort of pull this up nice. That's it. It's a little bit of a wiggle room. Pull this up nice and tight, just like so, and then I'm going to go ahead and crimp it on this side as well, just squeezing it right down. Now again, I'm going to cut the excess wire off. So when I'm cutting the wire off, at the same time I'm pulling the wire away, and I have the flash part of my cutters against the necklace and pushing that away from me. So in one motion I'm pulling the wire towards me, in the other motion I'm pulling the necklace itself away with my cutters to make sure I cut as close as I can to the core of it. And now we're gonna attach some of these rings. So because I'm using an I'm extending my necklace with a chain, and they are a nice circular shape, I'm gonna put these jump rings to the side, and I'm not gonna use them at all, because I can go through the same way. So I'm gonna take my chain, find this where the little cut on the chain, because if you just imagine, they exactly the same as a jump ring, they just been linked together. So I got a cut right at the top there. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm trying to support it as much as I can with my pliers. I'm going to twist one towards me, the other one away, and I'm going to go through my wire guard and shut it back in. So on one side I just got like a little bit of sort of an extension. I just need one link. Just need to take off one link from here, just like so, and I'm gonna pop this lobster clasp on there. So this link on the chain is actually thicker than the loop on my lapis clasp. So in this case, on this side, I'm gonna have to use a jump ring. But because the jump ring is a similar size to the link on the chain, it's gonna look good. So I open the jump ring, I'm gonna add the wire protector, I'm gonna add the little lobster clasp and just close it back in. And this way you got sort of the opportunity to where you want to wear your necklace. If you want to wear it really long, you're going into the end of the chain. If you want to wear it shorter, then you can go further up and wear it. So, and this will just sort of dangle down on the back of your neck. So this is really a great way to do necklaces if you don't know the size, if you make them as presents or even if you make them as sell. Now the other little thing you can do, you can add a bead at the end. We're gonna do a separate video sort of turning loops with hat pins and making hat pins into little charms. So you could add one of those on the end, just add a tiny little detail there to secure it. So that's it really. That's all the basic steps. Again, so you can use your wire protectors with your magnetic clasp, or I just got this magnetic clasp here. You can also use straight picking up a crimp bead and just going through, this is a small magnetic clasp, but these ones are quite strong. Just going through the loop on the clasp, taking it back and crimping it. Now there are crimp covers available. Unfortunately, I haven't got any of them at home, and I've rummaged my stash for half an hour before I started the video to find one to show you how to sort of work them. But I have got a little how-to video on them, so I'm gonna pop that on Facebook a little bit later on so you can see. And what I would do here is put the crimp cover over, and the crimp cover just turns into like a little ball shape once you crimped it, and it covers up your flat end there, so that will look really nice like that. But I'll pop the video on there for later on for you. So that's another option as well. So you just take your tiger tail straight through if you got a smaller clasp and perhaps your wire guards doesn't fit through it. There's other type of clasp as well out there, toggle clasp. I love toggle clasp. Again, you can use them on crimp beads with crimp beads and crimp them on. Just don't forget the end of your necklace where using the toggle clasp has to be able to go through the toggle itself. So that's it for me really for today. Tomorrow, let me just turn the camera back on, and actually I can see the comments as well then. So that's it for me from today really. So where are the comments? Pat say hi, Chris. Thank you for thinking of us in a dreadful time. Mark saying good morning. Tracy, thank you for hard work, keep you going. Murray saying thank you so much. I hope you really enjoy it and you really, take something from this, and we can craft together and just create some lovely pieces of jewelry. I will be back tomorrow. This was requested to do herringbone stitch, so it's going to be a stitch-based Facebook Live tomorrow. I love herringbone stitch. This is one of my favorite stitches. I did so many different things with it. It's really easy once you get going. Just sort of picking up a bead and going through a couple of beads, but I will explain all that tomorrow. Sarah's going to be back on Thursday, so she's going to be doing chainmail, and then she's doing floating necklaces on Friday. I will be back with bead embroidery on Saturday. And I haven't got the list in front of me, so I don't know what's on Sunday. But today I'm going to create events on the website, so not on the website, on the Facebook, so you will be able to see a little picture of what we'll be making and what we will be doing. Don't forget there are groups on our Facebook page, so do join them, because you can sort of talk to like-minded people, and you can sort of ask advice anybody. But if you're stuck with anything, or if you want to know anything, you can always ask us, and I'll usually get back to you within, trying to get back to you within a day. Just send us a message or give us a comment, and yeah, so that's on our Facebook page. I also got my own page, which is Kitty Robinson Designs. I do Facebook Lives there as well, time to time. But at the moment, I'm trying to concentrate this one for you. And yeah, so join us and come and create with us. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye.